Hey, my friends, how are you? My name is Selim.Digital, and this is week 13 of me documenting my carnivore journey, or as I've been calling it, my carnivorish journey, because I'm not going to get 100% right. This has been a good week for me overall. I'm at 236.2 as of this morning, which is a new low for me, and again, that's not the single most important goal, but it is a objective and measurable goal, which is important in trying to figure out this collective health journey. This past week was the New York City Marathon. I wanted to give a shout out to everybody I know and everybody I don't know who ran the New York City Marathon. It's a wonderful journey. I had the pleasure of doing the New York City Marathon last year, and it was a real life-changing experience. And I wanted to give a special shout out to my friend Jacqueline, who I met at the New York City Marathon. She commented on the sandals that I was wearing. Lots of people actually did comment on the fact that I was doing the New York City Marathon in sandals. As we were waiting for the starting line, we found out that our running pace was about the same, so we said, okay, let's run together, and if you get bored or I'm too slow for you or vice versa, we go ahead. But we had such a great time, we just decided to keep pace with each other, and so that made the time really just float by. I didn't really notice that I was tired until about hour 7. It was at about hour 7 that Jacqueline and I ran into Honey. Honey is a 26-year New York City veteran of the marathons, and unfortunately she fell. And she hurt herself really badly. And the ambulance was there, and she said, please don't let them take me. This is my 26th marathon. I don't want to quit. So Jacqueline and I looked at each other and said, all right, well, let's just do this together. So we were at about mile 22, and it took us 2.5 hours to get the 4 miles remaining of the marathon. I mean, honestly, at that point I was like, Jesus, why do I have to be so nice and awesome? Why can't I just be a little bit more selfish? I could finish this by now. But, we got to the finish line together at the 9.5 hour mark, and it was absolutely thrilling. I couldn't have asked for a better ending. I couldn't have asked for better people to go on that journey with. So my most sincerest thanks to Honey and Jacqueline for being a part of my story, or part of our story. And, the next day I was not sore at all. And I think a big part of that has to do with the fact that I spent 2.5 hours flushing out the lactic acid and all of those byproducts from my muscles. So if I had just jogged the New York City Marathon and then got there at the 7-hour mark, then went straight home and gone to bed, I probably would have been hurting for days. But in doing this good deed for someone, I wound up rewarding myself with less pain. So I was really good at not eating my kids' candy on Halloween. Unfortunately, I did not make a plan for the every other day after Halloween. And so my kids have conservatively 30,000 pieces of candy in their bags. And so in a moment of weakness, I just ate a bunch of it. It's a reminder that it's not enough to have a plan for one day. You need to have a plan for whenever temptation comes at you. But at the same time, just brush it off, because life is going to happen. Obviously, that was me being a good dad and looking out for my kids' best interest, whether they want it or not. Made bacon-wrapped onion rings. And super simple. You just take 2 sections of an onion and wrap it in bacon. And then you put it in the oven at 400 degrees for about an hour and a half, and they come out incredibly crispy. I am still working on mastering the handstand. The kick up is getting better. I can feel it is a lot easier for me to get my feet up there, although I'm not at the point where I can do this independently.
Yeah, all you. Good. Good. Chest. Open the hip more. Yeah. Nice. Pull your ribs in a little bit. Push up taller. Get taller. Get taller. Taller. Get taller. Now stick your butt out. Yep. That goes. That goes.
I'm also beginning to straighten my body out and get a better line, but I'm not at that point where I can feel that I have my weight properly distributed. I think part of it is figuring out how to manipulate my body and tighten the muscles and tighten the core when I'm upside down. There's, it's one thing to be able to flex muscles when you're right side up and you kind of have that sense of that proprioception. But when you're upside down, everything just goes. So figuring out how do I, lock the shoulders, tighten the core, squeeze the glutes, lift up the legs, doing all of that at once is a real challenge, but one that I am feeling is getting better, and one that I'm also seeing is getting better. So that's incredibly rewarding. I just signed up for the Asheville Marathon that is taking place March 16th. That gives me about 4 months to prepare for a marathon. I could have signed up for a later marathon, but the reality is I think when we make plans that are too far into the future, what actually winds up happening is we delay until we feel that there's a real sense of urgency. So 4 months seems like just the right amount of time for me to get in the kind of cardiovascular shape I need to get in to complete the marathon without being so far away that I can say, oh, that's future me's problem. Screw him, he's a jerk. All right, that is it for this week. It's been overall positive, some forward progress and everything, and I am really enjoying doing all of this, and I'm really looking forward to updating you all next week. All the best and take care.